Intel share jumped 7% on earnings beat, uplifting guidance. The key points: the Intel reported better than expected earnings and issued uplifting guidance. The chipmaker is in the midst of a major restructuring initiative. The Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger holds an artificial intelligence the processor as he speaks during the Computex conference Taipei, Taiwan on June 4, 2024. Intel shares rose 7% in extended trading Thursday after the chipmaker reported better than expected earnings then issued quarterly guidance that topped estimated. Here the company did in comparison with LSEG consensus. Earnings per share at 17% adjusted versus loss of 2 cents expected. Revenue: the $13.28 billion versus $13.02 billion expected. Intel's revenue is declined 6% year over year in the fiscal third quarter, which ended September 28, according to a statement. The company that registers a net loss of $16.99 billion or 3.88 per share, $88 per share, compared with net earnings of $310 million or 7 cents per share in the same quarter a year ago. As a part of a cost reduction plan, Intel recognized $2.8 billion in restructuring charges during the quarter. There was also $15.9 billion in impairment charges tied in part to the accelerated depreciation for Intel 7 processor node manufacturing assets and a goodwill impairment in Mobileye unit. The company is carrying out one of the most seminal restructuring processes since its established in 1968, CEO Pat Gelsinger said on a conference call with analysts. Intel said in a filing that on October 28, the Board Audit and Finance Committee approved cost and capital reduction activities, including lowering headcount by 16,500 employees and reducing its real estate footprint. The job cuts were originally announced in August. Restructuring should be done by the fourth quarter of 2025, Intel said. The company has been mired in extended slump due to market share losses in its core business and an inability to crack artificial intelligence. Intel revealed plans during the quarter to turn the company's foundry business into independent subsidiary, a move that would enable outside funding option. CNBC reported that Intel has engaged advisors to defend itself against activist investors. In late September, news surfaced that Qualcomm reached out to Intel about a possible takeover. The client computing group that sells PC chip reordered $7.33 billion in fiscal third quarter revenue, down about 7% from a year earlier and below the $7.39 billion consensus among analysts surveyed by the Street account. Customers drew down their inventories in quarter after dealing with the supply shortages. We anticipated inventory normalization will continue through the first half of the next year. Dave Gingener, Intel Finance Chief, said on the call. Revenue from the data center and the AI segment came to $3.35 billion, which was up about 9% and more than a $3.17 billion consensus from Street account. Intel called for a fiscal fourth quarter adjusted earnings of 12 cents per share and revenue between $13.3 billion and $14.3 billion. Analysts had expected 8 cents in adjusted earnings per share and $13.66 billion in revenue. During the quarter, Intel announced the launch of the Xeon 6 server processors and Gaudi AI accelerators. Uptake of the Gaudi has been slower than the Intel anticipated. And the company will not reach its $5 million revenue target for 2024, Gersinger said on the call. As of Thursday's close, Intel shares were down about 57% in 2024, while the S&P 5 had gained 20%. Okay. Now, AMD said RDNA 4 GPUs are coming in early 2025. RX 8000 will deliver ray tracing improvement AI capability. Radeon RX 8000 seems to be around the corner. The sales of AMD's Radeon, what is pronunciation? Radeon? Its graphic processors dropped sharply in the third quarter compared to the same period a year ago as the company prepared to introduce its next generation product several months down the road. AMD's chief executive Lisa Su announced on Tuesday the first product based on the all-new RDNA 4 architecture, which could become some of the best graphic cards, are set to be released in early 2025. Graphics revenue declined year over year as we prepare for transition to our next generation Radeon GPUs based on our RDNA 4 architecture, Su said at the company conference call with analysts and investors. In addition to a strong increase in gaming performance, RDNA 4 delivers significantly higher ray tracing performance and adds new AI capabilities. We are on the track to launch the first RDNA 4 GPUs in early 2025. The AMD's lineup of new cards isn't expected to compete for the highest end of the market. AMD recently told us it is planned to avoid the Kings of the Hill strategy. Instead, the company says it will focus on volume, which typically adequate to the mid-range, high-volume models. The ray tracing performance improvement with the AMD RDNA 4 architecture was discussed in the industry for a while, though that is the first time a high-ranking AMD official has confirmed this. Some preliminary details on what could be improved in AMD's RDNA 4 architecture when it becomes to ray tracing have already led, and that information indicates that we could expect doubled ray tracing performance of RDNA 4 GPUs and compared to RDNA 3 GPUs. Although at this point, this is largely speculation. As for additional AI capabilities, it is reasonable to expect RDNA4 to support more instruction aimed at AI workloads and data format better suitable for machine learning. What remains to be seen is whether all these enhancements for AI will be developed on client graphics cards and not reserved for Radeon Pro, adding both aimed at a workstation and servers. We also know that AMD is working to make its FSR fully AI driven. An announcement in earlier 2025 almost certainly means that the AMD intends to formally introduce its first RDNA4 based graphic processors and CES. The launching of gaming GPU after the holiday season is now really common in the industry, as both AMD and Nvidia try to address the needs of gamers with new products before the holiday season when new games are released. This happened to AMD's RDNA2 and RDNA3 families of products and multiple lineups before that. The still GPU designers tend to unveil their new laptop GPUs along with their notebook partners, and the latter prefer to showcase their latest product at the trade show. Therefore, if the AMD decided to start rolling out its RDNA4 based offerings from notebook GPUs, another uncommon decision, then CES would seem to be a right time for a launch. Anton, okay. Next is Jansanity continues in Taiwan. Mini Jensen Huang cosplay sports massive NVIDIA GPU for Halloween. Jansanity continues on the island deep into the holiday season. A young child in Taiwan was spotted wearing an unusual Halloween costume, a well-made replica of the world's largest graphic card that the Zhuang pulled out of his oven when NVIDIA unveiled the Ampere graphic architecture in 2020. This costume, which NVIDIA shared on its X account, shows the NVIDIA CEO continued popularity, especially in island country. Jensen Huang's popularity soared during the AI boom when the company he founded, NVIDIA, became one of the most valuable in the world due to a surge in AI chip demand. Although Huang immigrated to the US with his family when he was 9 years old, many Taiwanese still see him as a bearer of the Taiwanese pride, often treating him like a pop star whenever he lands on the island. For example, fans and reporters alike hounded him when he explored Taipei Street before his 2023 and 2024 appearances at Computex. If the king, then Mark joking called him a king with a leather jacket on during the launch of Denmark's Gefion AI supercomputer. For his part, Jensen often stopped to grant selfies and sign autographs, endearing him to the general public. Jensen's success is also seen in his bank account, with his personal net worth now greater than Intel's market cap at $109 billion versus $96 billion for Team Blue. Although he hasn't yet broken the top 10 list of the richest people on the planet, he is less than a $4 billion short of displacing the former Micro CEO Steve Ballmer from 10th place. However, everything isn't about money. The two richest people on earth, Elon Musk and Larry Ellison, begging Jensen Huang for AI GPUs over dinner, says a lot about how much power that the NVIDIA CEO wields over the AI race, at least in this moment. And as the company continued to lead the hardware race for AI supremacy, especially with its Blackwell GPUs and sold out for the next 12 months, we can only expect Jensen's Huang popularity to rise over time. Okay. Next is. Okay, the ARM goes to war against Qualcomm's stupid squad. 자, because of Intel's relative weakness at the moment, our ARM has an opportunity to move outside of each smartphone base and solidity into pieces. Instead of backing Qualcomm's play, ARM has decided to cancel the Qualcomm's license. This move not only appears to be an abuse of power, but is extremely ill-timed, given Intel and AMD have correctly identified the threat and formed a partnership to fight it. It suggests that maybe Qualcomm shouldn't have blocked the NVIDIA's attempt to buy ARM because to get the government approval for the deal, NVIDIA would have had to protect Qualcomm's interests and be blocked from doing what ARM is now doing to Qualcomm. Further, ARM is at risk even for a smartphone because the hottest smartphone currently on the market is from Huawei. It doesn't use the ARM processor but a Kirin processor, which on paper might be better. My product of the week is a Huawei phone, pulling interest in line with the original iPhone. So this ARM versus Qualcomm war is ill-timed. The Qualcomm's PC effort is struggling. While there is a lot of focus coming out of Huawei from Qualcomm on the performance of the new Snapdragon processors for laptops, the big problem for them isn't the performance but compatibility. This compatibility issue, while not pronounced for those of us who don't use many custom apps, has become a bridge too far for large companies with a lot of custom Windows apps. In addition, over the last few months, AMD and Intel have stepped up their laptop processor game, while Qualcomm can still successfully argue it's better in terms of efficiency. The need for emulators detract from this, and an x86 is the entrenched technology. This means all Intel and AMD need to be good enough, but Qualcomm has to outperform them. One critical mistake was the failure to drive more 5G capability into these Snapdragon notebooks. Qualcomm's biggest advantage is its wireless capability and powering a laptop that has not only all-day battery life but also instant and pervasive connectivity. However, only the Microsoft Surface tablet has this capability. Coincidentally, I understand that the Surface Snapdragon AI PC products are significantly outselling everyone else's, suggesting the 5G capabilities was a significant potential game changer. One of the significant reasons that the line is struggling is that it is both different and not well marketed. When a product is different, its marketing requirement is higher because we don't like different unless the difference has key benefits. For instance, the LG Prada phone, on which the first iPhone was allegedly based, didn't sell well because people didn't like the virtual keyboard and preferred phones like the BlackBerry. But Apple marketed the consumer benefits of a screen phone and pivoted to the market to it, knocking dominant companies like Palm and Research in Motion, BlackBerry, and even Microsoft out of the market. That's the power of well-funded and fully executed marketing, and we just didn't see that with these offerings. The x86 ecosystem adversely grew. Intel and AMD recently found the x86 ecosystem advisory grew to defend against the ARM and any other challenging technology. This group has pretty much every major PC OEM with it, as well as several server and web advisors, including Google, Meta, and Microsoft. This is a helpful over type of relationship given AMD and Intel has been at each other through 4 years. But these two competitors rightly saw the risk, put aside their difference, and moved collectively against the ARM3. While the group is still too young to make much progress, and it provides significant resources with the goal of not only blocking ARM from entering the broader computing ecosystem, but also the potential to the challenge ARM for tablets and potentially smartphone alternatives in the future. The ARM should have moved immediately to consolidate its licenses into a small similar group, and much like partnerships formed during the wars and where countries put aside their differences to address the broader threat. Instead, the ARM decided to go to war with Qualcomm. This would be like Russia in World War II deciding to bomb the United Kingdom while being invaded by Germany. The outcome of the war would likely have been very different. The Huawei threat. Right now, Huawei is contained because of its alleged close relationship with the Chinese government. Nonetheless, its products have for some time had a significant price and performance advantage that appear to be increasing. Much like the electric car companies in China have started to outstrip even Tesla, and Chinese companies appear to be advancing far quicker than their Eastern counterparts. Should relations ease again between the West and East, and Western tech companies like ARM, Qualcomm, and Tesla will be at greater risk. This situation is a threat to ARM's and Qualcomm's current core markets, making this conflict between the two companies not only ill-timed and but incredibly stupid because it puts a cloud over both companies' future. Wrapping up, ARM has significant potential to redefine the personal computing space, but so do x86 and challengers like Huawei. This is not a time to launch preemptive attacks on licensees. It is time to gather them to counter the AMD and the Intel adversary group effort. This fight between the ARM and Qualcomm has the potential to create the same kind of dynamic that resulted in the iPhone taking out Nokia, BlackBerry, and Palm, among others, and destroying the otherwise bright future of both firms. Let's hope the others eventually step in because should this fight continue to escalate, it won't end well for either firm. The Huawei Tri-Fold Mate XT smartphone, the Huawei Tri-Fold Mate XT, sorry, I think it's completely another story. And so now next one is in Israel, NVIDIA snaps up employees leaving Intel. The Intel's layoff coincide with a major expansion in Israel by its rival NVIDIA, which is taking advantage of the situation. Several hundred employees at Intel Israel's development centers in Haifa, Petah Tikva, and Jerusalem will receive this missile notice this week, after thousands of their colleagues in the U.S. have been laid off. In August, Intel announced it would be cutting 15% of its workforce, shedding an estimated 15,000 to 17,000 employees. The 9,500 have already agreed to take voluntary requirement, which includes 19 extra monthly salary payments. Most of the layoffs in Israel are the development centers rather than a production plant in Kiryat Gat due to the construction of the new Fab 38 plant, which when completed will require more production employees. The Intel currently has 11,000 employees in Israel, including the 7,000 in the developing centers and 4,000 in production. Several hundred Intel employees have accepted the company's voluntary retirement plan, while several hundred more will be dismissed this week. The Intel employees upgrading to the NVIDIA. Even before the completion of the layoff process at Intel, it has become clear that in Israel, the biggest beneficiary from the turmoil at the company, which was one of the pinnacles of the global chip industry, is its big rival NVIDIA. By examining the update of the profiles on the LinkedIn social network, Globes have found that in 2024, at least 30 employees have left Intel and joined the NVIDIA office in the Yokneam and Tel Aviv, including veterans employees who have worked at Intel for a decade or two. These employees include core process development engineers, hardware architecture professionals, electric power management staff, and chip design software developers. According to estimate, the total number of Intel employees who have been hired by NVIDIA in recent months ranges from 60 to 90 people. And since the wave of voluntary requirement layoffs at Intel have not been ended, it looks like the NVIDIA will hire several dozen more employees from Intel in the coming months, bridging the number of about 100. NVIDIA declined to comment. The NVIDIA is currently undergoing major expansion in Israel and has hired hundreds of employees since the start of the year, and other companies and a new university graduate. And its latest report, NVIDIA had 4,000 employees in Israel on June 30. The most of the employees who left Intel for NVIDIA this year did so in recent months, with pacing picking up this month. A large group of former Intel employees recently left for other big tech companies, including Apple and Amazon and Mobileye, and a subsidiary of Intel. To a lesser extent, groups has found additional groups of the former employees have been hired by Microsoft and Google and the Chinese company Huawei, which has developed the center in Haifa. Available data show that in living in Intel for NVIDIA employees upgrading their salaries and remuneration packages. According to the Lavers.FYI website, a junior hardware engineer starting salary in NIS $566,000 per year of NIS $47,000 per month, including share options and bonuses, 33% higher on average than at Intel. The average monthly salary for a junior hardware engineer starting out at NVIDIA ICI level is NIS $14,400 per month. A junior hardware engineer is a similar position, level 5, at Intel on NIS $425,700 NIS per year, including bonuses and share options, or $32,700 NIS per month. The biggest gap between the Intel and NVIDIA is in the share options. According to the Levels.FYI, the value of the share option package for a hardware engineer at Intel begins at NIS 19,000 at 19,300 NIS per year. While at NVIDIA, the annual share option package begins at 56,200 NIS per year. Okay, today, thank you for your time and see you next time.